All right. Hello, everyone. Gonna go into a little research today, and had a brother that was interested in me making a video about who the Kittim are. I've heard a lot of things go around about the Romans being Esau and different stuff like that. I'll touch on that right quick. Esau was the brother of Jacob. Jacob descended from Abraham. Abraham from Shem, Noah's son. The book of Jubilees tells you Shem inherited the middle of the earth, where it's neither cold nor hot. And Ham inherited the south, that's hot. And Japheth inherited the north, which is cold. So Esau would be a Shemite, not a Japhethite. So let's go and let's look into it. All right, so let's establish a couple things. First, let's go through Daniel 7. Daniel chapter 7. In the first year of Belteshazzar, king of the Chaldeans, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed, and he wrote his dream. Notice here it says Chaldeans. Keep that in mind. And he was in Babylon, Daniel in Babylon. So the Chaldeans in Babylon. I, Daniel, beheld, and lo, the four winds of heaven blew violently upon the great sea, and there came up four great beasts out of the sea, differing from one another. The first was a lioness, and her wings as an eagle's. I beheld until her wings were plucked, and she was lifted off the earth, and she stood on human feet, and a man's heart was given to her. And behold, a second beast like a bear, and it supported itself on one side, and there were three ribs in its mouth between its teeth. And thus they said to it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this one I looked, and behold, another wild beast as a leopard, and it had four wings of a bird upon it. And the wild beast had four heads, and power was given to it. After this one I looked, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and exceedingly strong, and its teeth were of iron, devouring and crushing to atoms, and it trampled the remainder with its feet, and it was altogether different from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns. I noticed his horns, and behold, another little horn came up in the midst of them, and before it 3 of the former horns were rooted out, and behold, there were eyes as the eyes of a man in this horn, and a mouth speaking great things. So we're focusing on the fourth beast here, the one that comes after. I mean, you can do a study on that. The first beast, Babylon. The second beast, Medo-Persia. The third beast, Greece, or the Grecian Empire. And the fourth beast, Rome. And you know by the iron also. What were Romans famous for? Their iron. I beheld until the thrones were set, and the Ancient of Days sat, and his raiment was white as snow, and the hair of his head as pure wool. His throne was a flame of fire, and his wheels burning fire. A stream of fire rushed forth before him. Thousands ministered to him, and 10,000s of myriads attended upon him. The judgment set, and the books were opened. I beheld them because of the voice of the great words which that horn spoke. And to the wild beast was slain and destroyed, and his body given to be burnt with fire. And the dominion of the rest of the wild beasts was taken away. You can read in Enoch's dream vision about the beast being people groups, and also Peter's vision in Acts 10. The people were represented as beasts. But a prolonging of life was given them for certain times. I beheld in the night vision, and lo, one coming with the clouds of heaven as the Son of Man, that's Messiah, and he came on to the Ancient of Days, and was brought near to him. And to him was given the dominion and the honor and the kingdom, and all nations, tribes, and languages shall serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom shall not be destroyed. As for me, Daniel, my spirit and my body trembled, and the visions of my head troubled me. And I drew near to one of them that stood by, and I sought to learn of him the truth of all these things. And he told me the truth, and made known to me the interpretation of the things. These four beasts are four kingdoms that shall rise up on the earth, which shall be taken away, and the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess it forever and ever. So it tells you the four kingdoms that shall rise on the earth. There's plenty of stuff that you can look up and do research on your own. If I went through everything, I would never get off of here. So I just don't have time to go through everything. So you got they got Alexander Great for the iron, and it's not iron. Better picture. Yep, here we go. Zoom out. Yep. Yeah, you'll see. Goodness. Go back out. Yep, Babylonian, Medo-Persia, Grecian, and Roman Empire. And those dates there. Yeah, they're close. Head of gold, arms of silver, thighs of bronze, legs of iron, feet of iron and clay. See the iron and the clay? The last kingdom does not pass away. It gets mixed with the clay. And finally it gets destroyed by the Messiah. So you got, then I inquired carefully concerning the fourth beast, for it differed from every other beast, exceeding dreadful. Its teeth were of iron, and its claws of brass, devouring and utterly breaking to pieces, and it trampled the remainder with its feet. And concerning its 10 horns that were in its head, and the other that came up and rooted up some of the former, which had eyes and a mouth speaking great things, and his look was bolder than the rest. I beheld, and that horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came, and he gave judgment to the saints of the Most High. And the time came on, and the saints possessed the kingdom. And the saints don't possess the kingdom yet. And he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom on the earth, which shall excel all other kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and trample and destroy it, which Rome did. And his 10 horns are the 10 kings that shall arise, and after them shall arise another who shall exceed all the former ones in wickedness, and he shall subdue 3 kings, and he shall speak words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and shall think to change times and law, which they did. And power shall be given into his hand for a time, and times and half a time. And the judgment has set, and they shall remove his dominion to abolish it, and to destroy it utterly. And the kingdom and the power and the greatness of the kings that are under the whole heaven were given to the saints of the Most High, and his kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. That's Messiah. And all power shall serve and obey him. Hitherto is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my thoughts greatly troubled me, and my countenance was changed, but I kept the matter in my heart. So he's going to change times and laws. The Constantine Creed. I do not believe this, but this is a creed that they had. It says the person has to state that they renounce all customs, rites, legalisms, unleavened breads, and sacrifices of lambs of the Hebrews. Zoom in a little bit. And all of the other feasts of the Hebrews, sacrifices, prayers, aspersions, purifications, baptism, sanctifications and propitiations and fasts, new moons and Sabbaths and superstitions, and hymns and chants and observances and synagogues. What do we see in the Gospels? They're going in Acts. They're going into synagogues and preaching. And the food and drink of the Hebrews, in one word, I renounce everything Jewish, which the Messiah and the apostles were doing in the synagogues, and they weren't Jews. Legalism, custom, and rite, and above all, he who is expected by all the Jews, that's Judah and Benjamin, in the shape and dress of Messiah. I renounce Antichrist, this is Antichrist, and join myself to the true Christ, that's backwards, and God, and I believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, the holy and consubstantial and individual Trinity. I profess the dispensation where one of the Holy Trinity, the Word of God, took flesh and became man. If I pretend to be a Christian, return to Jewish superstition, or shall be found eating with the Jews, or feasting with them, or secretly conversing and condemning the Christian religion, instead of openly confuting them and condemning their vain faith, Then let the trembling of Gehazi cleave to me, as well as the legal punishments to which I acknowledge liable, and may be anathema in the world to come, and may the person's soul be set down with Satan and the devils. So people were supposed to recite this. A Christian was supposed to recite this. Where in the scriptures does it tell us to recite something like this? Nowhere. I accept all customs, rights, this person. Legalism, feast of the Romans, sacrifices. So they reject the legalism of the Hebrews, but they accept the legalism of the Romans. Prayers, purifications with water, sanctifications by the Pope or High Priest, propitiations, feasts, new Sabbaths, Sunday, the day of the sun, all new chants, observances, all the food and drinks of the Romans, pagan festivals, Saturnalia, Christmas time. In other words, they accept absolutely everything Roman, every new law, right, custom of Rome, and the new Roman religion. So it even tells you Christianity is a new Roman religion. Yeah, they called them Christians in Acts, but that doesn't mean they were Christians. It just says they called them Christians at Antioch. And then it turns around and tells you that Paul was of the sect of the Nazarene, not Christian. So did this fourth beast change times and law? It absolutely did. The Constantine Creed. That's Rome. That survives until the end. 2 Ezra 5:1. This was considered scripture for ever. It was in the 1611 King James Version, the 1560 Geneva, all the way up until the late 1800s when it was removed. If you go to Apocrypha, it tells you straight up that it was removed in 1885. All right, so let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 5. This is on sacred text here. Nevertheless, as the tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in great number, and the way of the truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. The way in the Bible, right? The way of truth hidden. And it tells you where's it at? Acts. Oh, here. Let's see if I can sort by book. Yes. Acts. Isaiah. Yeah, you can read all about the way. That's the biblical. Let's see, Luke. Come on, here we go. Acts. See, Acts 24:14. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, they called it heresy. So I worship I, the Yahuwah, God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and the prophets. Looks like he was following the law. And also, where's it at? Yeah, see right here, Acts 18:26. And he began to speak boldly in the synagogue, whom when Aquila and Priscilla had heard, they took him unto them and expounded unto him the way of God more perfectly. The way of what? Of God, his commandments. So the way of truth is going to be hidden, which that happened. Psalm 119, 142. The truth is the law, and the land shall be barren of faith. That's prophesied in Enoch. We're going to have an age of darkness after the Messiah gets crucified. The southern kingdom gets dispersed. and age of darkness. Lawlessness shall be increased above that which thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. And the land that thou seest now to have root shalt thou see wasted suddenly. See? So, all right. So let's go to chapter 11. Second Ezra 11. There's more to study. I'm just going to do a brief overview. Then I saw a dream. Behold, there came up from the sea an eagle, which had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads. So we seen Chaldean earlier of Babylon. Then we see an eagle here. We see the beast in Daniel. And I saw, and behold, she spread her wings over all the earth, and all the winds of the air blew on her and were gathered together. And I beheld out of her feathers there grew other contrary feathers, and they became little feathers and small. But her heads were at rest. The head in the midst was greater than the other, yet it rested with the residue. Moreover, I beheld, and lo, the eagle flew with her feathers, and reigned upon the earth, and over them that dwelt therein. See how the kingdoms, those 4 kingdoms reigned over the earth? And I saw that all things under heaven were subject unto her, and no man spake against her, no, not one creature upon earth. And I beheld, and lo, the eagle rose upon her talons, and spake to her feathers, saying, Watch not all at once, sleep every one in his own place, and watch by course. But let the heads be preserved for the last. Key word. And I beheld, and lo, the voice went not out of her heads, but from the midst of her body. And I numbered her contrary feathers, and behold, there were 8 of them. And I looked, and behold, on the right side there arose 1 feather, and reigned over all the earth. Reigned over all the earth. And so it was that when it rained, the end of it came, and the place thereof appeared no more. So the next following stood up, and reigned, and had a great time. So that's talking about the feather there. And it happened that when it rained, the end of it came also like as the first, so that it appeared no more. Then came there a voice unto it and said, Hear thou that hast borne rule over the earth so long, this I say unto thee, before thou beginnest to appear no more, there shall none after thee attain unto thy time, neither unto the half thereof. Then arose the third, and reigned as the other before, and appeared no more also. So went it with all the residue one after another, as that every one reigned, and then appeared no more. Then I beheld, and lo, in the process of time, the feathers that followed stood up upon the right side, that they might rule also, and some of them ruled, but within a while they appeared no more. For some of them were set up, but ruled not. After this I looked, and behold, the 12 feathers appeared no more, nor the 2 little feathers. And there was no more upon the eagle's body, but 3 heads that rested, and 6 little wings. Then saw I also the 2 little feathers divided themselves from the 6, and remained under the head that was upon the right side, for the 4 continued in their place. And I beheld, and lo, the feathers that were under the wing thought to set up themselves to have rule. And I beheld, and lo, there was one set up, but shortly it appeared no more, and the second was sooner away than the first. And I beheld, and lo, the 2 that remained thought also in themselves to reign, all part of the same eagle. And when they so thought, behold, there awaked one of the heads that were at rest, namely it that was in the midst, for that was greater than the 2 other heads. So one of the heads. Then I saw that the 2 other heads were joined with it, and behold, the head was turned with them that were with it, and did eat up the 2 feathers under the wing that would have reigned. But this head put the whole earth in fear. Key right there. And bare rule over it over all those that dwelt upon the earth with much oppression, and in it had governance of the world more than all the wings that had been. And you'll notice how the Roman Catholic Church or Vatican ruled the earth. People weren't allowed to have a Bible. They had to go to the priest. It ruled over the earth. And after this I beheld, and lo, the head that was in the midst suddenly appeared no more, like as the wings, but there remained the 2 heads, which also in like sort ruled upon the earth, and over those that dwelt therein. And I beheld, and lo, the head upon the right side devoured it that was upon the left side. Then I heard a voice which said unto me, Look before thee, and consider the thing that thou seest. And I beheld, and lo, as it were a roaring lion chased out of the wood, and I saw that he sent out a man's voice unto the eagle, and said, Hear thou, I will talk with thee, and the highest shall say unto thee, that's God, Yahuwah, art not thou it that remainest of the 4 beasts, whom I made to reign in my world? This is our Father in heaven talking, that the end of their times might come through them. And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth. Compass of the earth. Is it a globe or a compass? Flat compass. With much wicked oppression, and so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit. For the earth hast thou not judged with truth. What happened to the beast? The way of truth was hidden. We've seen in 2nd Ezra. By it, and the way of truth shall be hidden. For thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars, and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit. Psalms 1. Fruit is law-keeping, the saints. Thou hast afflicted the meek, destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit. And the saints shall be given into his hand for a time. Let's go to Thompson. Daniel. Where's it at? This is the Thompson Septuagint translation of Daniel. I was reading out of Brenton Septuagint translation. Where is it at? Daniel. 7. All right, and yep. He shall wear out the holy ones in the Most High. Let's try here. Says Daniel. King James Version, Daniel 7:25. Shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Afflicted the meek, hurt the peaceable, loved liars, destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. Therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. The highest also hath looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled. Therefore appear no more thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy vain body, that all the earth may be refreshed, and may return, being delivered from thy violence, and that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her. Let's see. Yep. And it came to pass while the lion spake these words unto the eagle, I saw, and behold, the head that remained, the 4 wings appeared no more, and the 2 went unto it, set themselves up to reign, and their kingdom was small and full of uproar. And I saw, and behold, they appeared no more. The whole body of the eagle was burnt, so that the earth was in great fear. Then I awaked out of the trouble and trance of my mind, and from great fear, and said unto my spirit, Lo, this hast thou done unto me, in that thou searchest out the ways of the highest. Lo, yet I am weary in my mind, and very weak in my spirit, and little strength is there in me, for the great fear wherewith I was afflicted this night. Therefore will I now beseech the highest, that he will comfort me unto the end. And I said, Yahuwah, thou that bearest rule, if I have found grace before thy sight, if I am justified with thee before many others, and if my prayer indeed be come up before thy face, comfort me then, and show me thy servant the interpretation and plain difference of this fearful vision, that thou mayest perfectly comfort my soul, for thou hast judged me worthy to show me the last times. He said unto me, This is the interpretation of the vision. The eagle, whom thou sawest come up out of from the sea, is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel. What did we just read? The 4 beasts. But it was not expounded unto him. Therefore now I declare it unto thee. Behold, the days will come that there shall rise a kingdom upon the earth. So that's one of the kingdoms. And it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before it. Let's see. The 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom on the earth, which shall excel all other kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and trample and destroy it. That's in Daniel, the 4th beast. In the same shall 12 kings reign, one after another, whereof the second shall begin to reign, and shall have more time than any of the 12. And this do the 12 wings signify which thou sawest. And as for the voice which thou heardest speak, and that thou sawest not to go out from the heads, but from the midst of the body thereof, this is the interpretation, that after the time of that kingdom there shall arise great strivings, and it shall stand in peril of failing. Nevertheless, it shall not then fall, but shall be restored again to his beginning. Well, they said Rome fell. And whereas thou sawest the 8 small under feathers sticking to her wings, this is the interpretation, that in him there shall rise 8 kings, whose time shall be but small, and their years swift, and 2 of them shall perish, the middle time approaching. 4 shall be kept until their end begin to approach, but 2 shall be kept unto the end. And whereas thou sawest 3 heads resting, this is the interpretation. In his last days shall the Most High raise up 3 kingdoms, and renew many things therein, and they shall have the dominion of the earth in the last days, and of those that dwell therein with much oppression above all those who are before them. Therefore are they called the heads of the eagle. For these are they that shall accomplish his wickedness, and that shall finish his last end, the last 3 kingdoms. And whereas thou sawest that the great head appeared no more, it signifieth that one of them shall die upon his bed, and yet with pain. For the 2 that remain shall be slain with the sword. For the sword of the one shall devour the other, but at the last shall he fall through the sword himself. And whereas thou sawest 2 feathers under the wings passing over the head that is on the right side, it signifieth that these are they whom the highest hath kept unto their end. This is the small kingdom and full of trouble, as thou sawest. And the lion whom thou sawest rising up out of the wood, and roaring and speaking to the eagle, and rebuking her for her unrighteousness with all the words which thou hast heard, this is the anointed which the highest has kept for them, and for their wickedness unto the end. He shall reprove them, and shall upbraid them with their cruelty. For he shall set them before him alive in judgment, and shall rebuke them and correct them. For the rest of my people shall he deliver with mercy those that have been pressed upon my borders, and he shall make them joyful unto the coming of the day of judgment, whereof I have spoken unto thee from the beginning. This is the dream that thou sawest, and these are the interpretations. So that tells you who Rome is. This is 2nd Baruch, chapter 39. And he answered and said unto me, let's see here, 39. Baruch, this is the interpretation of the vision which you have seen. So you can go up here and read this here. As you have seen, the great forest which lofty and rugged mountains surrounded, this is the word. Behold, the days come, and the kingdom will be destroyed, which once destroyed Zion, who destroyed Jerusalem. They say 70 AD? Rome. And it will be subjected to that which comes after it. Moreover, that also again after a time will be destroyed, and another, a third, will arise. Well, that wouldn't be a third kingdom that once destroyed Zion. So that'd be Babylon. Moreover, after a time will be destroyed, and another, a third, will arise. And that it will also have dominion, for its time will be destroyed. Let me look up here. I got to turn my brightness down. Wow, that's bright. That is super bright. Whew. All right. Let's see. All right. Kingdom that destroyed Zion, so Babylon and Rome, be subjected to that which comes after it. That's the second one. Medo-Persia. Okay, yeah. Subjected to that which comes after it. So Babylon subjected to Medo-Persia. Moreover, that kingdom, Medo-Persia, also again after time will be destroyed, and another, a third, will arise, Greece, and it will have dominion, for its time be destroyed. After these things, a fourth kingdom will arise, Rome, whose power will be harsh and evil far beyond those which were before it, and it will rule many times as the forest on the plain, and it will hold fast for times, and will exalt itself more than the cedars of Lebanon, and by it the truth will be hidden. We'll be seeing 2nd Ezra. And all those who are polluted with iniquity will flee to it. You see the Constantine creed, everything that Rome did, as evil beasts flee and creep into the forest. There's the beast again, people. And it will come to pass when the time of its consummation that it should fall has approached, then the principate of my Messiah will be revealed, which is like the fountain and the vine, and when it is revealed, it will root out the multitude of its hosts. And as touching that which you have seen, the lofty cedar which was left of that forest, and the fact that the vine spoke those words with it, which you did hear, this is the word. The last leader of that town will be left alive, and the multitude of his hosts will be put to the sword. He will be bound, and they will take him up to Mount Zion, and my Messiah will convict him of all his impieties, and will gather and set before him all the works of his host. And afterwards he will put him to death, and protect the rest of my people, which shall be found in the place which I have chosen, Jerusalem, and his principate will stand forever until the word of corruption is at an end, and until the times aforesaid are fulfilled. This is your vision, and this is its interpretation. So, with that being said, I'm going to quote a couple of passages in, this is Giza Burns. Yeah. It is 2004, Giza Burns. Dead Sea Scrolls in English. The complete Dead Sea Scrolls in English. Revised edition. All right. So who are the Kittim? We know who Rome is. We know it's the fourth beast. We know everything that Rome does. You'll see references to the Kittim in the War Scroll. So you see here, the dominion of the Kittim shall come to an end, and iniquity shall be vanquished, leaving no remnant. For the sons of darkness there shall be no escape. The sons of righteousness shall shine over all the ends of the earth. They shall go on shining until all the seasons of darkness are consumed. And at the season appointed by Yahuwah, his exalted greatness shall shine eternally to the peace, blessing, glory, joy, and long life of all the sons of light. That's page... What page is that? Page 204. Yeah, page 204. So you see, that's what do we just see over here? Come to an end. When the end comes and the saints rule, that's Rome. Exactly what we saw in Daniel and the other references. This is page 558. Whither the lion goes, there is the lion's cub, with none to disturb it. Interpreted, this concerns Demetrius, king of Greece, who sought on the counsel of those who seek smooth things to enter Jerusalem, which the book of Maccabees tells you they did. But what does the Dead Sea Scrolls that were kept by the Levites out in the wilderness of Judea say? But God did not permit the city to be delivered into the hands of the kings of Greece, making Maccabees a false account. From the time of Antiochus until the coming of the rulers of Kittim. Hold on, who comes after Greece? Rome. Who's Kittim? Rome. But then she shall be trampled under feet, which is exactly what Rome did. There's a lot more in there, but I'm just quoting a couple of passages. Page 563. For behold, I aroused the Chaldeans. What did we read earlier? Babylon, Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation. Interpreted, this concerns the Kittim. Hold up. The Chaldeans are the Kittim? Who are quick and valiant in war, causing many to perish. All the world shall fall under the dominion of the Kittim. What happened with Rome? All the world fell under the dominion of Rome. And the wicked, they shall not believe in the laws of God. No, they don't. The Constantine Creed, what do we see? They changed them. Also, page 563, they are fearsome and terrible. Their justice and grandeur proceed from themselves. Interpreted, this concerns the Kittim, who inspire all the nations with fear and dread. Fear and dread, we saw that. All their evil plotting is done with intention, and they deal with all the nations in cunning and guile. Exactly what we saw. And also here, their horses are swifter than leopards and fleeter than evening wolves. Their horses step forward proudly and spread their wings. They fly from afar like an eagle. What did we see earlier? Rome was an eagle. Avid to devour, all of them come for violence. The look on their faces is like the east wind. Interpreted, this concerns the Kittim, who trample the earth with their horses and beasts. They come from afar, from the islands of the sea, to devour all the peoples like an eagle, which cannot be satisfied, and they address all the peoples with anger and wrath and fury and indignation. For it is, as he said, the look on their faces is like the east wind. Exactly like they did. 2nd Ezra, eagle. And the 2,000 years ago, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, they knew who the Kittim were. And also, shall not your oppressors, this page 567, shall not your oppressors suddenly arise and your torturers awaken, and shall you not become their prey, because you have plundered many nations? All the remnant of the people shall plunder you. Interpreted, this concerns the priests who rebelled and violated the precepts of God, his chastisement by means of the judgments of wickedness, and they inflicted horrors of evil diseases and took vengeance upon his body of flesh. And as for that which he said, because you have plundered many nations, all the remnant of the people shall plunder you. Interpreted, this concerns the last priest of Jerusalem, the last priest, who shall amass money and wealth by plundering the peoples. But in the last days their riches and booty shall be delivered into the hands of the army of the Kittim, for it is they who shall be the remnant of the peoples. And what happened? They got delivered. The priest of Jerusalem. Who does amass money and wealth by plundering the peoples? Let's see, Luke 16:14. Luke 16:14. The Pharisees also, who were covetous, heard all these things, and they derided him. Let's go over here. Covetous. Strong's G 5366. Loving money. Amass money and wealth by plundering the peoples. Pharisees. Delivered into the hands of the Kittim, the Romans. That's Giza Verms, Dead Sea Scrolls translation. 2004. So that was a little bit of an overview. There's more stuff you can research. Just go through the Dead Sea Scrolls and look. But that it's abundantly clear that the Kittim is Rome. And you go here, Kittim, Genesis 10:4, and the sons of Javan, Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. Sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Ripthas, Togarmah. Sons of Japheth, Noah's son, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, Taras. Javan, son of Javan, Kittim. Kittim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families and their nations. Go to, where's that? Jubilees. Jubilees found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, part of the Ethiopian canon, quoted through Scripture. It was kept as biblical canon. Let's see here. Noah's sons, Tower of Babel. Subdivisions of the three portions. Yeah, Noah and his sons divide the earth. Jubilees chapter 8. Let's see here. Yep, it came to pass in the beginning of the 33rd Jubilee that they divided the earth into three parts for Shem, Ham, and Japheth according to the inheritance of each in the first year and the first week, when one of us who had been sent was with them. And he called his sons. They drew nigh to him, they and their children, and he divided the earth into lots, which his three sons were to take in possession. And they reached forth their hands, and they took the writing out of the bosom of Noah, their father. And there came forth on the writing as Shem's lot, the middle of the earth, which he should take as an inheritance for himself and for his sons for the generations of eternity, from the middle of the mountain range of Rapha, from the mouth of the water from the river Tina, and his portion goeth toward the west to the midst of the river. I'm not going to go through all that, but it gives you exact directions. And remember that the earth was flooded and most of the water remained. It receded. Some of it receded, and then the rest of it remained. Let's see. Where's that at? Second Esdras chapter. Sometimes it's hard to find this stuff. It's in there. It's in Second Esdras. It's like 70% water. Before the flood, it was 15% water. All right, so so Noah rejoiced that this portion came forth for Shem and for his sons, and he remembered all that he had spoken with his mouth in prophecy, for he had said, "Blessed be Yahuwah, Elohim of Shem, and may Yahuwah dwell in the dwelling of Shem." That's another thing. Genesis 9:27, Yahuwah shall enlarge Japheth. What happened with Greece and Rome? Covered the earth. And he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. This has been messed with. Japheth is not allowed to dwell in the tents of Shem. Japhethites, Ashkenazites, or whatever you want to call them. Japheth dwelling in the tents of Shem. He's not supposed to be doing that. The division of the earth pronounced a curse on anybody dwelling in the area that was given to a brother. So the descendants of Shem still own this land. This has been messed with. See, it tells you that Yahuwah is going to dwell in the dwelling of Shem. That's the I think 4 holy places on earth is all in Shem's land. See, and he knew that the Garden of Eden is the Holy of Holies and the dwelling of Yahuwah, and Mount Sinai is the center of the desert, and Mount Zion the center of the navel of the earth. These three were created as holding places facing each other. Okay, 3. And he blessed the Yahuwah of gods, who had put the word of Yahuwah into his mouth, and Yahuwah forevermore. And he knew that a blessed portion and a blessing had come to Shem and his sons unto the generations forever, the whole land of Eden, and the whole land of the Red Sea, and the whole land of the east. See, it tells you Shem's land right here in India, the Red Sea, the mountains thereof, and all the land of Bashan, and all the land of Lebanon, the islands of Kaftur, and all the mountains of Sinir, Garden of Eden, Ophir, Philippines, land of the east, the Orient, all the mountains of Sinir, and Ammana, and the mountains of Ashur in the north, and all the land of Elam, the India, Ashur, and Babel, and Susan, and Madeh, and all the mountains of Ararat, and all the region beyond the sea, which is beyond the mountains of Ashur toward the north, a blessed and spacious land, and all that is in it is very good. That's all Shem's. Japheth was not supposed to dwell in Shem's, the tents of Shem. God shall enlarge Japheth, God, and he, God, shall dwell in the tents of Shem. And Canaan shall be his servant. Hope I explained that good. So, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around it at first. As for Ham, came forth the second portion beyond the Gihon toward the south to the right of the garden. So see, to the right of the garden. And it extended toward the south, and it extended to all the mountains of fire, and it extended toward the west to the sea of Atel. Okay. This land came forth for Ham as a portion which he was to occupy forever for himself and his sons unto their generations forever. Is forever over? No. And for Japheth came forth the third portion beyond the river Tina. Tells you all his portion. This land is the land which came forth for Japheth, and for his sons is the portion of his inheritance, which he should possess for himself and his sons, and for their generations forever, 5 great islands, and a great land in the north, but it is cold. You see the UK, Ireland. And the land of Ham is hot, and the land of Shem is neither cold nor hot, but it is a blended cold and heat. And you can tell the climates. Climates are the same. You can tell whose is who. So there's some footnotes here. You can go through all that. Let's see here. See if I can find. So Ham divided between his sons. Cush toward the east, west of him, Mitzrayim, Egypt. Let's see. And that's where it says, and Sheri also divided among his sons. So Jubilees chapter 9. Jubilees 9. I don't think that was messed up like that last time. Somebody probably messed with it. Jubilees chapter 9. And Shem also divided among his sons. Okay, so this website's been messed up now. Sheri. Shem. Whole land of India. Arphaxad. Mesopotamia. Great Sea. Japheth also divided his inheritance among his sons. And for Javan came forth the fourth portion of every island, and the islands which are toward the border of Lud. And they all said, so be it, for themselves and for their sons forever throughout their generations, till the day of judgment, on which Yahuwah God shall judge them with a sword and with fire for all the unclean wickedness of their heirs, wherewith they have filled the earth with transgression and uncleanness and fornication and sin. Judgment's coming, people. So that's all I got. Hope that was a blessing and helpful. And